So a couple weeks back, I made a video on the auto combo option select, or AC OS. Encourage you to watch it, but I'll run through it really quickly again. So certain auto combos will behave differently versus on hit or block. Auto combos still deal 100%, so that's doing it manually. Let's do the auto combo. Does the same damage. So crouch light kick, stand light punch, lariat. So on block though, notice the OD Lariat does not come out. So I set the dummy to block all this time so we know if they keep blocking, the OD Lariat doesn't come out. I'm gonna have him sometimes jab and sometimes not. Now, we're not actually able to react to whether or not they get hit by the second attack. We can the first attack, but not the second attack. So if I do it, it's only gonna go into OD Lariat when they stop blocking. So they keep blocking, there we go. So the game will only continue it when they hit a button. So that's what an option select is. It's the same inputs, but based on the game state, it'll change. So on hit versus block, a different outcome happens. You can prove it exists through a dummy recording because it's the same input. So I'll make one right now. So that's the auto light. And now I'll play it back. So on block, nothing happens. On hit, OD Lariat. And if I press a button in between, OD Lariat comes out. So it is an option select. I just proved it. So this is already a pretty good setup, right? We will get OD Lariat on hit, but nothing on block. However, we're actionable on block, right? So if they keep blocking, we're +2, which is really good. Most auto combos are not plus on block. So we can have it so it's an option select. Let's put an SPD behind it. So on block, we could do a regular SPD. We could do OD SPD, actually those are, you used to be able to do medium SPD, but because of the hurt box changes, you can't do that anymore. So I'm gonna set them to randomly block and randomly press a button. So I'll do the same input, but this time I'll put an SPD behind it. So that time they kept blocking, so the SPD input came out, right? Because the OD Lariat doesn't come out on block. So there, the SPD input was eaten because the OD Lariat came out because they got hit. So the game is gonna automatically catch them jumping. So this could be really good in the corner. So maybe they do a down forward throw. And if I sit there and block, right, I get SPD'd. So let's say maybe I try to wake up with a button. Doesn't work. All right, maybe I'll jump at the second. Nope, didn't work. Maybe I'll jump with the third. Bum, bum. All right, so that got out of it. So there is a way out of the mix-up, but you get one more anti-jump. But that's the thing with the option select on block, you can do anything because you're +2, right? You could sit there and do nothing. And maybe you wait and you see what they do, or you commit for the SPD. The reason you can hear my stick being really loud is because I'm still mashing it, so that if they decide to jump, it's gonna automatically catch them, right? That's the benefit of this. You're covering extra options by being able to mash this auto combo. But you don't have to commit to the SPD. You can wait, you can go for something else. So when you're trying to go for the kill, this is a pretty good setup. So maybe you have them low on health. You don't quite have enough for level 3. Oh, you caught him jumping. You could dash in. And perfect KO. So maybe they change it up. You dash up. And SPD work. So you have many different ways to catch them there. The other thing you can do off this Lariat setup in the corner is you land Lariat, dash. You can see that if I mash it, they don't get a time to crouch light kick, but if I delay the mash slightly, if you do it too late, you'll actually get counter hit. So if you delay it slightly, you'll counter hit them. So you can see you actually have a really big window. You can sometimes trade, you can sometimes lose. So you need to choose between one of those two. You need to either delay the crouch light kick, so you just delay the frame, or you need to delay the cancel. So a good option to delay is actually after SPD, if you dash forward, stand light kick, and you delay it, you have like a 2-frame timing, you can actually do the cancel off the green version. If you do it too early or you buffer it, it's gonna be a true block string. So you can do that, or alternately off, and this is any SPD, you can delay the crouch light kick a little bit so that it frame traps twice. So it's a pretty good setup. The only issue is you need to be point blank for it to work best. So like off a cross up, you can go for an SPD. And actually you can do medium because it's a cross up off a deep jump in. Or if they're in the corner, you can, as I said, with Lariat or after DI, you can dash and maybe catch them jumping and go for an SPD if it doesn't work. However, the setup gets weakened if you use any normal. I do headbutt and go for it. The issue is I'm definitely out of light SPD range. If I do it, even if I try walking forward, I'm still out of light SPD range. So it still does catch them jumping back though. So it'll still catch them jumping back. You don't get the full hit of OD Lariat, but you still get the plus 38. So the setup still works, but it gets a little weakened. So there are a couple things you can do, but unfortunately it's gonna cost us some meter. In the corner, you can put a DI behind it so that if they continue blocking, you'll do DI instead. So only one bar and decent in the corner. But most often you're gonna do a drive rush. So maybe we have a little setup, knee, and then drive rush. Remember, if they were to jump, the auto combo would come out, you'd do OD Lariat, and you'd actually get both hits. But the main benefit is that you're +4 and right back in their face. And by the way, off these meaty setups, they can't drive reversal. If you do meaty headbutt, generally you want to walk forward a little bit, and that way it's still frame traps and you'll still combo, but you'll be a little bit closer. But it allows you to SPD. Here's another setup, either off punish counter in the corner, and you go right into heavy SPD. You can trade with the jab, which continues the combo. The trade combo works. If they jump as well, you'll catch the jump. And if they're trying to react to your drive rush by mashing an ODDP, you can go for a fuzzy low with a crouch light kick, right? You're +4, so it's a true block string, meaning that they can't DP. And then also they need to block low. If they stop blocking low, you'll hit them. Which reminds me, if you do a meaty drive rush cancel into a fuzzy low, your combo actually starts at 85%. If I try to do this, it's 100% because you're +1 off crouch light punch drive rush, but if you're plus and you go for a fuzzy low, you lose some damage. So something I found out recently. And you can also go for this off SPD. Drive rush in, stand light kick, and go for the OD Lariat. And you can decide whether or not you want to go for the fuzzy low. That's because stand light kick, drive rush cancel is +5 on block, +7 on hit. And so if you drive rush cancel a green version, you're +11, +9. So that gives you plenty of time to run in, and you can either delay it enough to do a frame trap, or you can just go for it. And you can either do the auto combo, or you can do a crouch light kick, then go for the auto combo. They do about the same damage. There's definitely a lot more you can do, but I'm gonna move on to things that are exclusive to modern Zangief. They don't even really apply to other modern characters with AC OS, and that's his ability to option select into a super meter, and I'll go over that now. So we open up our opponent, get Lariat in the corner, and then into level 3. Now let me break that down with a recording. So I made a recording of something that may happen. Maybe you corner someone, so maybe some pressure. Oh, got a counter hit. All right, I'm gonna sit and block, and super comes out, and I am obviously dead, even if you did the modern version. So, by the way, I'm starting at 60% life. All right, so let's say it's the same exact string. This time I'm going to press a button. The super came out again. So let's break it down real quick. Since the second auto light was blocked, the auto combo stops and the third attack is ignored. We did not hold up before the flash, so we will be grabbed. This time I'll jump, but it's the same dummy recording. The attack was not blocked, so the third auto light is accepted. And because OD Lariat is super cancelable, this input is also accepted. So in both cases, the super is accepted. If I go for it now, then it'll activate if they sit there, if they press a button, and if they jump, it'll also activate because you're an OD Lariat. Now, whether you do the super manually or with the shortcut is up to you. It should be based on your opponent's health. The main issue with this AC OS into super is that the damage value is going to be pretty low. And that's because of the extra scaling applied to lights, right? If you start with the light, then the next hit is 80% versus if you start with the medium, you get 2 hits, 100%. So if you're trying to get a little more range, you can drive rush into level 3. And that does work. And also you will get the auto combo option select, but you need to be careful. And the main reason has to do with how throw invincibility works on wake up. So out of any stun, block, hit, wake up stun, parry stun, you're throw invincible for 2 frames. So if I go for it, so I set the dummy to do that, I'm holding down back, so I was holding down back, which means normally I would get grabbed, but I can still hold up. And the reason I can still hold up is because, here's my little mouse cursor. If you look at the frame meter right here, you can see that the first frame it tries to grab, they can't be thrown. The second frame they can. So you can actually jump on that second frame because the first frame of the flash, you're invincible. Now the super will work if you're +3. So if you're +3 to -3, you will beat any option. So if I go for this and I set them to jump, it doesn't work, right? So after the flash, and then if I'm -3, obviously they can't jump after the flash. They got plenty of frames. So the main thing you need to do is just delay it slightly. And then the super will come out. And if they stop blocking, you have a big cancel window, so you can delay it a little bit, and it should work. And I go over this a little bit later, but alternatively, if you do want to buffer an option, you can actually do heavy SPD, and then the super will come out if OD Lariat comes out. So it'd be like this. All right, and if I were to, so let's play it back. If I'm hit, goes into super, but if I block, heavy SPD comes out. So that will do a buffered setup. All right, so now we're gonna do some advanced option select. So I'm gonna start with the modern inputs one, just to show what I mean. I'll create a sequence, it covers 3 options. So we'll go for a throw, drive rush knee. All right, let's play that back. So first off, we know that if we block the whole thing, the SPD happens. That's what the dummy did. So let's say we wake up drive reversal. Parries it, and then we're gonna get SPD. All right, let's try jumping at the last possible moment. Level 2. Let's break it down. First, we'll start with wake up drive reversal. The defender drive reversals, and the aggressor is holding drive parry. It worked. Generally, it's good practice to hold drive parry behind meaty knee to beat drive reversals. Let's do the situation if they continue blocking. Since Zangief was in his knee animation, drive parry never occurred. We've now released the input. Auto combo option select occurs here. The stand light punch was blocked, which means the third auto light is ignored. So currently, Zangief can still special cancel. So the drive rush cancel is accepted. And now we are buffering shortcut SPD. The super input's ignored. And now on hit. Reminder, this is the same recording. AC OS occurs here. Since the stand light punch hit, the combo continues with the third attack input. Zangief's an OD Lariat right now, so both drive parry and shortcut SPD are ignored. You can still cancel into supers, so we can activate level 2. And you can do regular input versions too, so I'll do OD SPD on block and level 2 on hit. So that's level 2. And OD SPD on block. To finish off this video, I made 3 example recordings of setups here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing and sharing the video. I have more videos planned for the future, so I'll see you then.